Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful May day. Alright, Pops. Currently we don't have any electricity in the village. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a very strong wind. We keep getting horrific storms which have even knocked out one of the windmills on top of a hill. But while the electricity is down, I thought I'd show you some basic foraging and prepping skills which each of you can do in your own garden. Today we're going to be looking at the humble dandelion. Nowadays we see the dandelion as just a weed which infests the garden, and in a minute I will actually be mowing the lawn and these will disappear for a day. But years ago the dandelion was an essential part of everyday diet. In fact, it's the young leaves which made up salad. You can eat every part of the dandelion, preferably if there aren't insects all over it. Another interesting thing about the dandelion is it's one of the few plants which secretes a milky liquid and is not poisonous. Normally that's a big red flag. Any plant that secretes a white or milky fluid is generally to be avoided. Dandelions just taste bitter, they're not poisonous. When the first pilgrims crossed to America on the Mayflower, two of the plants they carried were the dandelion and the clover. The clover for livestock, specifically cattle, and the dandelion for themselves, because it was a salad. However, for me, I'm not a big fan of green things. I'm more of a carnivore. One thing I do have is an addiction to coffee. When I get up in the morning, I want 2 cups of coffee. Now let's just imagine coffee becomes unattainable. Because of the supply crisis and price hikes, this is very feasible at the moment. So how can you substitute coffee? Tea you can make from numerous fruits and herbs, but coffee? And this is where the dandelion comes in again, because we can make dandelion root coffee. Now, be aware, it does not contain caffeine, which is really the point of coffee, but you get the placebo effect of having a coffee-like drink. Today I will show you the process of making dandelion coffee, so you can try this at home. Okay, what we're after is the roots. Now, really, don't do this in the middle of your lawn if you don't want divots everywhere. Okay, once you've got a few, it doesn't have to be too many. Put them in your basket and you can separate the salad leaves from the roots. So, in the next phase, we're going to separate the roots from the plants. Dandelion roots aren't very big, so if you're planning to make a lot of coffee, you're going to need an awful lot of roots. But for today, I'm just making for 1 cup, which is enough for me. Obviously, like any other root, if it feels squidgy or it's gone brown, discard it. And all these lovely leaves, you can make some interesting salad, especially if you've got some wild mint to go with it, maybe some wild thyme, some mint. Okay, now we wash them and get all this grime off. All the lovely mud. To make it quicker, what I will do is I will just particulate them. Break them down a bit and then roast them. Now it is oven time. Put it on gas mark for minutes. Honestly, I have no idea. Make it hot and then watch it until it goes sort of crispy brown. After X amount of minutes, we can remove the finished product. It should be quite brittle and brown. Oh, that's so hot, that's so hot. Okay, we're going to put the dried material, the dandelion, into a mortar and pestle, and we're going to grind them. Do a bit of witchy stuff. You're going to help. Okay. You know we don't have to lick ears continuously, don't you? You do know that. It's not part of the recipe. We should end up with a powdery substance. Obviously, at this stage, it's up to you what you do with your coffee substitute. In this case, I'm just going to pour boiling water. You could use a bottom or even a cafetiere. I have both, but not presently here. I have to use a tea strainer because of the hard water. So we'll let that settle. Blazing on a sunny afternoon. Oh. Well, I hope you enjoy your cup of dandelion coffee. A few things I'd like to point out. If anyone's worrying about all the gristle, if you haven't used a bottom or other filter, out here they drink primarily 2 types of coffee. One being Nescafe instant type, and the other something called Taraxacum, which means Turkish. and this is gristly coffee anyway. Another thing, years ago I used to drink about 20, maybe more, espressos per day, which just turns you into a walking ulcer. So now the coffee I regularly drink is 50% coffee, 50% chicory. And this is something you could do with your Dandelion substitute coffee. You can mix it with normal coffee, 50-50 or whatever percentage you want. And this has the advantage of extending the use you have of real coffee and also toning down the amount of caffeine, which can really screw up your stomach and your intestines. Now, I'm not talking decaffeinated coffee because that's something really nasty and that's something I won't touch. But think of this as a healthy middle way. Schmeckt gut. As always, be free.